Hey everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we will be continuing our series of Jurassic Park, the third grandkid. If you like the video, make sure to like, subscribe and share the video with your friends. Now on to the what if. Chapter 3 Kylie, on speakers in the Jeeps, the voice you are now hearing is Richard Kylie. We spared no expense. If you look to the right, you'll see a herd of the first dinosaurs on our tour, called Dilophosaurus. Alan, Dilophosaurus. Everyone in the two cars looks over at the paddock next to them as they try and find the Dilophosaurus. Kylie, one of the earliest carnivores, we now know Dilophosaurus is actually poisonous, spitting its venom at its prey, causing blindness and paralysis, allowing the carnivore to eat at its leisure. This makes Dilophosaurus a beautiful but deadly addition to Jurassic Park. And where the fuck is it? Ellie, Alan? Where? Alan, damn. Visitor Center Control Room. Arnold, vehicle headlights are on and not responding. Those shouldn't be running off the car's batteries. Item 151 on today's glitch list. We have all the problems of a major theme park and a major zoo, and the computers aren't even on their feet yet. Hammond turns to Dennis Nedry. Dennis, our lives are in your hands, and you have butterfingers? Nedry laughs, I am totally unappreciated in my time. You can run this park from this room with minimal staff for up to 3 days. You think that level of automation is easy? Sips soda, or cheap? You know anyone who can network 8 machines and debug 2 million lines of code on my salary? If so, I'd love to see them try. Hammond, I'm sorry about your financial problems. I really am. But they are your problems. Nedry, you're right, John. You're absolutely right. Everything's my problem. Hammond, I will not get drawn into another financial debate with you, Dennis. I really will not. Nedry, there's hardly been any debate at all. Hammond, I don't blame people for their mistakes. But I do ask that they pay for them. Nedry, thanks, Dad. Arnold, Dennis. The headlights. Nedry, yeah, I'll debug the tour program when they get back, okay? Okay. It'll eat a lot of computer cycles, we'll lose part of the system for a while. There's a finite amount of memory. We can't use it for everything. Are you gonna compile for half an hour? Muldoon, interrupting, quiet, all of you. They're approaching the Tyrannosaur paddock. The two tour vehicles come to a stop outside the massive fence that serves as the enclosure for the Tyrannosaur paddock. Everyone is looking at the window in anticipation of seeing the king of the dinosaurs. Malcolm, God creates dinosaurs. God destroys dinosaurs. God creates man. Man destroys God. Man creates dinosaurs. Ellie, dinosaurs eat man. Woman inherits the earth. Grant and Malcolm stare at Ellie for a moment, then return their attention to the paddock. However, there's no sign of the Tyrannosaurus. Arnold, over the intercom, we'll try to tempt the Rex now. Keep watching the fence. Inside the paddock, a cage raises, bringing a goat with it. The goat is tethered to a post, as the cage lowers around it, leaving it trapped and exposed. An easy meal for a hungry dinosaur. Lex, what's gonna happen to the goat? And he's going to eat the goat. Tim, excellent. Gennaro, what's the matter, kid? You never had lamb chops? Lex, I happen to be a vegetarian. Grant, T-Rex doesn't want to be fed, he wants to hunt. Can't just suppress 65 million years of gut instinct. They continue to wait, and wait, and wait. But the T-Rex is a no-show. They sit back in disappointment as the vehicles move forward again. Malcolm, speaking into the camera, eventually you do plan on having dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour, right? Hello? Hello? Exhales on the lens, yes? Hammond, watching this from the control room, I really hate that man. Malcolm sits back in his seat. The Tyrannosaur doesn't obey any set patterns or park schedules. The essence of chaos. Ellie, I'm still not clear on chaos. Malcolm, it simply deals with unpredictability in complex systems. The shorthand is the butterfly effect. A butterfly can flap its wings in Peking, and in Central Park, you get rain instead of sunshine. Ellie waves her hand over her head, indicating that explanation went right over her head. Malcolm, laughing, did I go too fast? I did a flyby. Ellie, I missed it. Malcolm, here. Give me your glass of water. We'll perform an experiment. Grant's attention is outside the vehicle. He notices something and tries to get a better look. Malcolm, the car should be still, but that's okay. It's just an example. Put your hand flat like a hieroglyphic. A drop of water falls on your hand. Which way will the drop roll off? Which finger? Ellie, thumb, I'd say. Malcolm places the drop of water on Ellie's hand. It rolls off the back. Malcolm, aha. Okay, freeze your hand. Don't move. I'll do the same thing, start with the same place again. Which way now? Ellie, let's say back the same way. Malcolm drops the water again, and gasps. Malcolm, it changed. Why? Because tiny variations. The orientation of the hairs on your hand. Ellie, Alan, look at this. But Grant still isn't paying attention, still focused on what's outside. Malcolm, the amount of blood dist ending your vessels. Imperfections in the skin. Ellie, imperfections in the skin. Malcolm, oh, just microscopic. Microscopic. That never repeat and vastly affect that outcome. That's what? Ellie, unpredictability. Grant's curiosity finally gets the better of him, and he opens the door of the vehicle and jumps out. Malcolm, there. Look at this. See? I'm right again. Nobody could predict that Dr. Grant would jump out of a moving vehicle. Ellie, getting out as well, Alan? Malcolm, and there's another example. See, here I am now by myself, talking to myself. That's chaos theory. Visitor Center Control Room Hammond, stop the program. Stop the program. Muldoon, I told you how many times we needed locking mechanisms on the vehicle doors. Cut to Nedry's desk. On his screen appears the surveillance camera shows the cold storage room. Another camera was showing the ship at the east dock. Nedry breathes slightly. Camera pointed to the Barbase Alkin on his desk. The scientists, Gennaro, and the kids are walking across an open field in Jurassic Park. The sky is noticeably darker with the approach of a storm. Tim, like I said, there's this other book by a guy named Backer, and he says the dinosaurs died of diseases. Ellie, where are we going? Tim, he didn't say they turned into birds. Gennaro, anyone else think we shouldn't be out here? Y/N come on man, lighten up a bit. Tim, and his book was a lot fatter than yours. Uses his hand to demonstrate, like this. Grant, really? Ellie, yours was fully illustrated. Lex suddenly stumbles, and Grant catches her. Grant, you okay? Tim, look at this. Wait, watch. Come on, watch this. Y/N Tim, leave the man alone. Grant suddenly stops everyone. Grant, whoa, whoa, whoa. Everybody wait here. Grant walks off ahead. A short time after, Tim follows. Ellie, Tim. Lex, hey, Timmy. Y/N goddammit Tim. Y/N. Chase after Tim as Tim keeps walking, pushing his way through the tall grass. He emerges into a clearing, where Grant is standing with Jurassic Park's veterinarian, Dr. Harding. Beside the two of them, a female Triceratops lays on her side, breathing heavily. Harding, don't be scared. Come on, it's okay. Muldoon tranquilized her for me. She's sick. Y/N Tim, don't run off like that. You then see the dinosaur, oh, my god. Ellie, oh, my god. Hi baby. Hey baby girl. Hey. She chuckles with excitement. Grant, she was always my favorite when I was a kid, and now I see she's the most beautiful thing I ever saw. Y/N this also used to be my favorite one, but now it's something else. I'm just waiting for them to bring it to Jurassic Park now. Grant, you're Y/N, right? Y/N yes, that me, nice to meet you, Dr. Grant. Grant, likewise. So what your favorite dinosaur? Y/N the Spinosaurus. Yours? Grant, Velociraptor. Say how old are you? Y/N I'm 17, why you ask? Grant, just wondering. Ellie, approaches the Triceratops, it's okay. She notices something odd about her tongue, microvesicles. That's interesting. Harding hands her his penlight, thanks. What are her symptoms? Harding. Imbalance, disorientation, labored breathing. It seems to happen every 6 weeks or so. Ellie, 6 weeks. Shines the penlight into the Triceratops's eyes. These are dilated. Take a look. It's okay. Harding, they are? I'll be damned. Ellie, that's pharmacological. From local plant life. She stands up and starts looking around, noticing a plant she recognizes. Is this West Indian lilac? Harding. Yes. We know they're toxic, but the animals don't eat them. Ellie, are you sure? Harding, pretty sure. Why/and are you sure about that? Ellie, there's only one way to be positive. I'll have to see the dinosaurs' droppings. Malcolm, Dino, droppings? Droppings? Coming Cyclone Visitor Center Control Room Muldoon, on the phone. Yeah, I got that. Holds the phone aside, to Hammond, the storm center. Hasn't dissipated or changed course. We'll have to cut the tour short. We'll pick up tomorrow where we left off. Hammond, are you sure we have to? Arnold, it's not worth taking the chance, John. Muldoon, sustained winds at 45 knots. Hammond, tell them when they get back to the cars. Arnold, making an announcement, ladies and gentlemen, last shuttle to the dock leaves in approximately 5 minutes. Drop what you're doing and leave now. Hammond, damn. Back at the sick Triceratops, Ian Malcolm is looking at a pile of droppings nearly as tall as he is. Malcolm, that is one big pile of shit. Why/and you're telling me? Nearby, Ellie, wearing gloves, is digging through another pile of droppings. Ellie, you're right. There's no trace of lilac berries. That's so odd, though. Walks off, thinking, all right, she's suffering from meliotoxicity, every 6 weeks. Malcolm, she's tenacious. Grant, you have no idea. Malcolm, calls after Ellie, you will remember to wash your hands before you eat anything? Back in the control room, Dennis is frantically typing away at his computer. We don't see what he's typing, but when he finishes, a big button labeled Execute appears on his screen. Back at the Triceratops, a loud peal of thunderclap is heard. At this, Gennaro puts his foot down. Gennaro, doctors, if you please, I have to insist that we get moving. Why/and as much I would like to say no, he's right. We should get moving. Ellie, oh. You know, if it's alright, I'd like to stay with Dr. Harding and finish up with the trike. If you know. Harding, sure. I'm in a gas-powered jeep. I can drop her off at the visitors center before I make the boat with the others. Ellie, great. Then I'll catch up with you if you want to go on. Grant, you sure? Ellie, yeah, I want to stay with her a little longer. Grant, okay, then. Why/and stay safe, Ellie. Ellie, you too. With that, Grant, Malcolm, Gennaro, and the kids head back to the tour vehicles as Ellie goes back to examine the Triceratops again. Rain begins to pour heavily. Waves are shown crashing over the island's storm barriers. Chapter 4. In the control room, Dennis is talking with the mate of the boat at the east dock. Mate, there's nothing I can do. If the captain says we gotta go, we gotta go. Nedry, no, listen. You gotta give me some time. I did a test run on this thing, and it took me 20 minutes. I think I can push it to 18, but you gotta give me at least 15 minutes. Just give me 15 minutes. Mate, no promises. The mate hangs up the phone. Dennis looks nervous, realizing that it's now or never if he's going to pull this heist off. Hammond is idly looking at the mosquito-containing ember attached to his cane. Arnold, visitor vehicles are returning to the garage. Hammond, so much for our first tour. 2 no-shows and 1 sick Triceratops. Arnold, it could have been worse, John. A lot worse. Nedry, trying desperately to sound casual and unassuming, anybody want a soda or something? I'm going up to the machine. I'd thought I'd get somebody something. I've had only sweets and I'm gonna get something salty. Oh. I finished debugging the phones. I was going to, so I did. So I debugged the phones. And I thought maybe I should tell you that the system is going to be, compiling for 18 to 20 minutes. So some of the minor systems, they may go on or off for a while, but it's nothing to worry about, it's just a simple thing. Dennis turns his attention to his computer's mouse, clicking the execute button. A lot of the windows on the screen clear away, and what remains is a 1-minute countdown. Dennis starts the countdown, grabs the can of shaving cream, then leaves. Back at the tour vehicles, Grant and Malcolm are in a car by themselves. Grant, do you have any kids? Malcolm, me? Oh, hell yeah. 3. I love kids. Anything at all can and does happen. Same with wives, for that matter. Grant, you're married? Malcolm, occasionally. I'm always on the lookout for a future XMRS. Malcolm. Grant turns to him. Malcolm laughs slightly. Back at the visitors center, Dennis is waiting outside the door leading to the embryonic cold storage. He's watching his stopwatch carefully, as a security camera slowly turns to the door. Nedry, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The door clicks open, the security camera turns off just as it faces the door, and Dennis enters. Back in the control room, Arnold is about to light a cigarette, when a buzzing, then rhythmic beeping from his computer gets his attention. He turns towards it. Arnold, that's odd. Hammond, what? Arnold, door security systems are shutting down. Hammond, Nedry said a few systems might go offline, didn't he? In the cold storage, Dennis opens up the can of shaving cream, seeing the compartments inside. He opens the 2 embryo freezers, taking out one of each embryo and sticking it in the can. When he has one of each kind, he puts the can back together, closes the embryo freezers, and leaves. Back in the cars, the interactive screen goes off. Grant and Malcolm don't notice. Malcolm, by the way, Dr. Sattler, she's not, like, available, is she? Grant, why? Malcolm, yeah, I'm sorry. You two are. Grant, yeah. The car suddenly jerks as it comes to a halt. Grant, hey, what did I touch? Malcolm, you didn't touch anything. We stopped. Back in the control rooms, things are getting really worrisome. Indicators are showing the fences all over the park are turning off. Arnold, oh, what the hell, what the hell, what the hell? Hammond, what now? Arnold, fences are failing all over the park. Hammond, find Nedry. Check the vending machines. At that moment, a jeep drives up to the gates of Jurassic Park. Dennis gets out, trying vainly to use a raincoat to protect himself from the pouring rain. He runs over to the gate and opens a panel box, containing a lever that says, Manual Override. He flips it to unlock. Then gets back in the jeep, and uses it to bump the gates open. He drives off into the park. Back in the control room, Arnold has made his way over to Dennis' workstation in hopes of fixing the problems. He picks through all the garbage there in Distate, then uses his arm to sweep it aside. Arnold, look at this workstation. What a complete slob. Muldoon, the raptor fences aren't out, are they? Arnold types at the workstation. Arnold, no, they're still on. Hammond, why the hell would he turn the other ones off? Back in the park, the reason is revealed. An electricity fence is shown, with a warning sign that it can't be opened while the fence is armed. Nedry opens it, then drives further into the park. He can barely see through the windshield because of all the rain, and the road is rapidly turning to mud. A fork in the road suddenly appears, and Nedry hits the brakes, but it's too late. The jeep slams into the sign in the middle of the fork. Dennis gets out and picks up the sign. It says to East Dock, but the arrow hangs loosely, so Dennis doesn't know which direction to go. He points it to the left, then to the right, then angrily spins it. Back in the control center, Arnold is typing at Dennis' workstation. Arnold, access main program. The computer flashes, permission denied. Arnold, access main security. The computer again flashes, permission denied. Arnold, access main program grid. The computer flashes, permission denied, once more, then the screen suddenly fills with a repeating message, you didn't say the magic word. At that moment, an animated image of a cartoony Dennis Nedry appears on the other monitor, wagging his finger. Computer Nedry, you didn't say the magic word. Arnold, livid, please. God damn it. I hate this hacker crap. Hammond, call Nedry's people in Cambridge. Computer Nedry, magic word. Arnold picks up the phone and starts to dial, but realizes something. Arnold, the phones are out. 2. Hammond, where did the vehicles stop? The goat from earlier is still standing in the rain, bleeding. The cars have stopped next to the Tyrannosaur paddock. Grant runs through the rain to get back into his car. Grant, their radio's out too. Gennaro said to stay put. Malcolm, are the kids okay? Grant, I didn't ask. Why wouldn't they be? Malcolm, kids get scared. Grant, what's scary? It's just a little hiccup in the power. Malcolm, I'm not scared. Grant, I didn't say you were scared. Malcolm, I know. In the second car, Y/N suddenly pops up wearing night vision goggles, scaring Lex and Tim. Gennaro, hey. Where did you find those? Y/N in the box under my seat. Gennaro, are they heavy? Y/N will it for me no. For them, points towards Tim and Lex, yes. Gennaro, they might be expensive. Put M back. Y/N yeah whatever. Y/N ignores Gennaro and climbs into the back seat. Lex smacks Y/N. Lex, don't scare me. Y/N looks out into the rain through the goggles, enjoying the view. Y/N now this is some cool night vision. More time passes. Dr. Grant reaches out of the car to fill his canteen with rainwater, then takes a drink. More waiting. Y/N and Tim suddenly becomes aware of something, a rhythmic thumping sound. Tim, to Lex, do you feel that? Lex doesn't answer. Tim's attention turns to the cups of water in the front seat. With each thump, the water ripples. Y/N started to look into the Tyrannosaur paddock. Gennaro, maybe it's the power trying to come back on. The thumping gets louder. Lex, what is that? As Y/N looks out of the car with the night vision goggles, into the T-Rex paddock. The goat tied to the stake is gone, only the chain holding it swinging from the stake. Y/N guys? Where did the goat go? A loud bang suddenly occurs as something falls on the roof of the car. It's a dismembered leg of the goat. Lex gasps in shock. Tim looks up, with surprised look and sees the Tyrannosaurus, devouring the goat whole. Y/N. There the goat. Gennaro, oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. Gennaro panics, throws open the door of the car, and runs out into the rain. Y/N the fuck? Lex, freaking out, he left us. He left us. Y/N why would oh? Shit. Y/N would then climb over to the driver's seat as he quickly shuts the door. Grant and Malcolm watch Gennaro race by their car in the direction of a concrete bathroom. Grant, now where does he think he's going? Malcolm, when you've gotta go, you've gotta go. Another sound gets their attention, and they look up, to see the T-Rex breaking through the no longer electrified fence. Lex, Dr. Grant. The T-Rex finally come out of the enclosure. Malcolm, God, do I hate being right all the time. The T-Rex approaches the second explorer, nudging it with her snout. Grant, practically whispering, keep absolutely still. Its vision is based on movement. Back in the front, Explorer, Y/N, is telling Lex and Tim to get in the middle and stay low. Y/N moves to the front of the car as he gets into the driver's seat backwards. As he is do so, his butt hits the car horn. Y/N oh shit. The horn gets the attention of the Rex, as it makes it way over. Y/N stay still. Y/N quickly jumps into the passenger seat as he gets under the dashboard. The T-Rex looks at the car trying to find the cause of the noise. It roared, causing the kids to cover their ears. The T-Rex moves the car a bit, causing them to scream. Tim and Lex starts to panic as they start moving. Y/N gets out from under the dashboard as he tries to calm his young siblings down. Y/N calm down. Don't. Suddenly, the Rex's head crashes through the front window as its massive jaws makes their way into the car and distorting the dashboard. Y/N and the kids freeze at the sight as moments later the Rexes remove its mouth from the window. They didn't take their eyes off the window, until a dark shadow covered them. They all slowly looked up as they saw the Rexes looking down at them through the skylight. Suddenly, the Rex's head crashes down, slamming the plexiglass roof of the car down onto the kids. The plexiglass holds, however, it is the only thing protecting the kids from the Rex's teeth. The kids scream in terror. The Tyrannosaurus then slams its head against the car, tipping it into the air. A second slam flips the car completely over. The T-Rex stands on top of the car and starts trying to bite its way through. The kids are trapped in the rapidly crushing car, and mud and water are pouring in around them. In the rear car, Grant finds a box of flares and grabs one. After a bit, he gets out of the car and stands in the pouring rain, holding the lit flare. Grant, hey. The Rex immediately turns towards him, letting out a loud roar. Grant slowly waves the flare back and forth, the T-Rex following the movement of the flare. Grant flings the flare off to the side, and freezes in place. The T-Rex goes after the light. Malcolm then exits the car with a flare of his own. Malcolm, hey. 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 Grant, Ian, freeze. Malcolm starts running with the flare, trying to lure the Rex away. It works too well, as the Rex comes in pursuit. Malcolm, get the kids. Grant, get rid of the flare. Malcolm throws the flare away, but it's too late. The T-Rex is now in hot pursuit of him. Malcolm runs for his life towards the bathroom Gennaro hid in. Gennaro, praying, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord be. Gennaro sees the T-Rex coming and screams, slamming the door of the stall shut. The T-Rex's head crashes into the bathroom building. Malcolm is knocked down and buried under the collapsing roof. The rest of the bathroom collapses, leaving Gennaro exposed, seated on the toilet. The T-Rex stares at him for a moment, then snaps him up in her jaws, swinging him around. Gennaro, no. No. Back at the wrecked vehicle, Grant is trying to help the kids out. Lex, Dr. Grant. Grant helps Lex out, then tries to help Tim. Tim, I'm stuck. The seat's got my feet. Grant, I'll get you next. To Lex, you're all right. You're okay. Back to the car, Tim. Tim. Where Lex suddenly screams as the T-Rex comes back their way. Grant quickly covers her mouth. Grant, don't move. It can't see us if we don't move. The Rex stops right in front of them, her massive foot leaving an equally massive print in the mud. The Rex breathes, blowing Dr. Grant's head off. But Grant and Lex remain still. The Rex's attention turns to the wrecked car, starting to knock it around. Inside the car Tim found a unconscious Y/N, with blood dripping from his forehead. Grant and Lex are forced to move to stay ahead of it, but are being backed towards the concrete barrier. Lex, Y/N. Timmy. Alan, Tim. Y/N. With Lex on his back, Grant grabs a wire and beams to rappel down the wall. The Rex continues to push the car closer to the edge. Lex screams and grabs around Grant's neck tightly. Grant, Lex. You're choking me. Grant realizes that the car is about to come right down on top of them. He looks around quickly, and spots another wire off to the side out of the way. Grant, to Lex, grab the wire. Grant runs towards it, but comes up short. He lets his momentum swing him back, then tries again. Lex grabs the wire just as the car falls past, barely missing them and landing in a tree below. The T-Rex lets out another loud roar. Chapter 5. In the control room, Arnold's still trying to figure out Nedry's sabotage. Arnold, the key check space O, key checks off, safety space O. He turning the safety systems off. He doesn't want anybody to see what he's about to do. Now, look at this next entry, it's the kicker. White_Rabby.object, whatever it did it all. But with the key checks off, the computer didn't file the keystrokes. So the only way to find them now is to go through the computer's lines of code, one by one. Ellie, how many lines of code are there? Arnold, about 2 million. Ellie, 2 million. Arnold, yeah. Hammond, to Muldoon, Robert. I wonder if perhaps you would be good enough to take a gas jeep and bring back my grandchildren. Muldoon, sure. Ellie, I'm going with him. Muldoon and Ellie leave. Hammond looks out the window at the pouring rain. Arnold, John. Hammond doesn't seem to hear him, as wrapped up in his thoughts as he is. Arnold, louder, John. Hammond turns his attention to Arnold. Arnold, I can't get Jurassic Park back online without Dennis Nedry. Dennis, still lost in the rain, is driving toward East Dock. Nedry, frustrated, should have been there by now. The Jeep splashes through a puddle as Dennis loses concentration of the road as he turns to the car door window. The Jeep approaches a white fence, and Nedry panics, tries desperately to steer the Jeep away. The Jeep crashes, and gets stuck on a fallen tree. Nedry gets out of the Wrangler, but realizes the wheels are stuck. Nedry, damn. He sees a sign pointing to the East Dock, which is straight ahead. Nedry, there's the road. Dennis, stressed out due to having a small amount of time left, goes to the front of the Jeep to grab rope he can tie to a tree at the bottom in order to get the Jeep out. Nedry, stressed out talking to himself, there's something here, tight, that thing there and, pull down this thing to there. Dennis slips down to the bottom. Nedry, my glasses, I can afford more glasses. Dennis makes his way to a tree to tie a rope around to get his Jeep to the bottom, and he stubs his toe. Nedry, oh, geez. Dennis looks at his watch. Nedry, I got time. I got time. You can do this, Dennis, you can do this. Suddenly, a Dilophosaurus starts stalking him. Nedry, hello? The creature suddenly appears behind the tree Dennis is pulling rope to. Nedry, nervous, oh that's nice. Gotta go. Dennis heads back to the Jeep, but the creature continues following him. Nedry, scared, nice boy, nice boy. Dennis then grabs a stick, and starts poking at the Dilophosaurus. Nedry, hey here's a stick. See the stick? Stick stupid. Dennis throws the stick, but the creature has no interest in the stick as it continues to look at Nedry. Nedry, no wonder you're extinct. I will run you over when I get back down. Dennis keeps walking to the Jeep, but the Dilophosaurus has no intention of leaving. Dennis looks back at it, and it prepares to spit acid at him by raising part of its skin, and snarls at Dennis. It spits acid at him, but misses the first time. Dennis reaches the car door, looks back in the direction of the Dilophosaurus, and it is successful able to reach Dennis as the acid reaches his face, and starts burning his eyeballs. Nedry, Dennis hits his head on the car door, and falls down. In the process, he loses his barbasalkin containing the embryos, which falls down the waterfall. He gets back into the Jeep, thinking he is safe, when the Dilophosaurus suddenly appears in the passenger side of the Wrangler. With nowhere to go, the creature is able to devour Dennis, warranting his plan a total failure. Down below, the barbasalkin ends up getting buried under a flow of mud. Grant and Lex are now safely down from the wall. Grant is looking up at the tree the Land Cruiser, Tim and Y/N, are in. Lex, still frantic, Timmy. Y/N. In the Land Cruiser. Y/N, slowly opened his eyes as he heard his sister voice. Y/N Lex. Y/N, whispered, he then tried to get up, but a shutting pain from his head stopped him as he laid his head back down. He put his left hand up to his head, but doing so he felt something wet. Removing his hand he saw that there was blood on it. Y/N great. I must have gotten a concussion when the Rexes flipped the car. Tim. Y/N. You were in the back as you looked towards the front passenger side and saw your young brother Tim. Y/N Hey Tim. As you looked at him you looked through the broken window as it was looking down at the ground. It then hits you that you are not upright, and are in fact sideways and you were on the back of the driver's seat. Y/N Tim. Where are we? Tim, in a tree. Back on the ground. Grant, now, Lex. Listen. Lex, I'm right here. I'll look after you. I have to go help your brother. Stay right here and wait for me. Lex, frantically screaming, he left us. He left us. Grant, firmly, but that's not what I'm gonna do. Okay? Lex is still terrified, but nods. Grant, stay here. Grant heads for the tree, as Lex scampers into a nearby drainage pipe. Grant, yelling up the tree, Tim. Y/N. Can you two hear me? I'm coming up. Starts climbing. I hate climbing. I hate trees. Way too high. Goddamn tree. He finally reaches the Land Cruiser, and sees Tim inside, with his eyes closed. Tim? Tim opens his eyes, seeing Dr. Grant. Grant, you okay? Tim, weakly, I threw up. Grant, that's okay. Where your brother? Y/N I'm here. You then wave your hand at Grant. Grant, are you okay? Y/N I think I got a concussion. Grant, okay. Let me get Tim out and it get you. Just give me your hand. Grant extends his hand. Tim doesn't move. Tim, I won't tell anyone that you threw up. Just give me your hand. Tim takes it and starts to move towards Grant. Here. I've got you. Okay, that's good. Over the rail. Tim grabs the steering wheel, causing the wheels of the Land Cruiser to turn. Tim, don't pull me too hard. Grant, stand on the door. Hang on while I get your brother. Grant got a little higher as he opened the back door and help Y/N out of the car. Grant then get back down towards Tim with Y/N following. Grant, that's not too bad, right you two? Tim, yes it is. Grant, it's like a tree house. Your dad ever build you one? Y/N no. Grant, yeah, me too. The three of them start to descend. Grant, now the thing about climbing is, you never look down. Tim, this is impossible. How am I going to do this? It's about. Grant, I'm going to help you with your footing. Suddenly a noise is heard above them. Y/N, and Grant looks up and sees the Land Cruiser is starting to move down towards them. Grant, oh, no. Tim, go. Grant and Tim start to descend the tree quickly, but the Land Cruiser continues to fall towards them. Y/N, on the other hand, threw quick as he just moved out of the way of the car. Grant, go, Tim, go. Faster, Tim. Grant soon realizes they're not going to be able to outrun the car to the bottom. Grant, Tim, jump. They both jump out of the tree to the ground, the car plummeting towards them. Grant lifts his arms above his head in a vain attempt to shield them from the falling car, but the car suddenly stops as it slams into a branch just above them. Grant, go, Tim. As they try to run, the car begins to tilt towards them. Grant throws Tim to the ground and jumps on top of him to shield him from the car. By sheer luck, however, the car crashes down around them having been exactly where the shattered sunroof was. Tim, well, Dr. Grant. We're back in the car again. Grant, well, at least you're out of the tree. Grant and Tim then got out of the car as Lex ran over and hugged Tim. She then looked around. Lex, where? Y/N. Y/N, I'm right here. Everyone looked over at the tree as you finished the climb down. Time skip. Muldoon and Ellie drive up in a jeep. They instantly realize one of the Land Cruisers is missing. Ellie, oh God. Where's the other car? Where's the other car? Alan? Muldoon, Dr. Grant. Ellie, Alan. Muldoon, Grant. As they look around, they soon find something unpleasant, which is the remains of Gennaro. Muldoon, I think this was Gennaro. Ellie, I think this was, too. They hear the roar of the T-Rex. Ellie, I think it's ahead of us. Muldoon, it could be anywhere. With the fences down, it can wander in and out of any paddock it likes. As they approach the wrecked bathroom, they hear a groan. They quickly dig into the mess and find Malcolm. Ellie sees Malcolm's belt tied around his leg, he's put a tourniquet on. Ian? Malcolm, weakly, remind me to thank John for a lovely weekend. The roar of the T-Rex is heard again, and this time, it's closer. Ellie, can we chance moving him? Malcolm, please. Chance it. Muldoon helps Malcolm get into the jeep, while Ellie continues to look around. Muldoon, Ellie, come on. Ellie, hold on. Ellie reaches the barrier at the side of the road, looks over it, and sees Ellie, the other car. Muldoon and Ellie quickly descend to investigate the wreckage. Muldoon, Dr. Grant. Ellie, Alan. They realize the car's empty. Muldoon, they're not here. Ellie shines her flashlight on the muddy ground. She sees 4 sets of footprints, 2 large and 2 small, heading into the paddock. Malcolm, still in the jeep, becomes aware of a rhythmic pounding. His attention goes down to a massive T-Rex footprint filled with rainwater. It ripples with each pound. Malcolm, anybody hear that? You know what that is? It's an impact tremor is what it is. I'm fairly alarmed. Here. Starts frantically calling to the others, come on, we have to get out of here. We have to go. Now. Now. Right now. Let's go. Muldoon and Ellie race back to the jeep and jump in. Muldoon starts the jeep and drives off just as the T-Rex bursts into view. Ellie screams in terror as the T-Rex starts chasing them. Malcolm, must go faster. Muldoon looks in the rearview mirror. It says objects in mirror are closer than they appear and is full of T-Rex jaws. Malcolm, here it comes. Stand on it. 5th gear. Malcolm backs away, but ends up on the gear shift, sending the jeep into neutral and slowing it down. Muldoon, get off the stick. Bloody move. Ellie, look out. They barely manage to get their heads down as a massive tree branch destroys the windshield. The T-Rex blasts right through it without slowing down, and rams the back of the Jeep with its head, knocking it up. Muldoon manages to get the Jeep back into gear and floors it. The T-Rex begins to fall behind, and eventually gives up the chase. Ellie and Muldoon breathe sighs of relief. Malcolm, think they'll have that on the tour? The Jeep continues to drive through the rainy night. Chapter 6 Grant, Y/N, Lex, and Tim make their way through Jurassic Park. Far in the distance, there's another roar. Lex, are you hearing this? Another roar can be heard. Alan, come on, you two. Come on, hurry up. Let's, get up this tree. Tim, oh, no. Y/N fuck me. Grant, a little help. Grant, I got you. Come on, Tim, it's okay. Try up here. Y/N, Lex, Tim, and Grant climb the tree. Grant is behind, watching the other two while helping. Y/N, out. Tim, unhappy, oh, man. I hate trees. Lex, briskly, they don't bother me. Tim, still unhappy, oh, yeah, well, you weren't in the last one. Y/N, not to mention that you didn't get a concussion. My head is fucking killing me. The four can hear the hoots of the animals. Some are almost musical. Now, near the top of the tree, Grant, Lex, and Tim sit on a flat place in the wood. Y/N stands off to the side as he looks over them. In front of them was an incredible view. They can see in all directions. It is clouded, but still there's a lot of detail. Most striking of all are sauropod heads, at the end of long necks, that tower over the park. Y/N, it seems we made it to the Brontosaurus enclosure. Alan, they're singing. Alan moves to the branch Y/N was on. He hoots loudly, trying to imitate one of the calls. Immediately, two of the heads turn in their direction and hoot back. Lex, SHH, SHH. Don't let the monsters come over here. Alan, they're not monsters, Lex. They're just animals. These are herbivores. Tim, that means they only eat vegetables, but for you I think they'd make an exception. Y/N, disapprovingly, Tim. Lex, oh, I hate the other kind. Alan. The other kind of just do what they do. Grant finds a solid web of branch and settles himself in it, leaning back against the trunk of the tree, with a little room on either side of him. Lex and Tim nestle up next to him. Grant is surprised, but accepts it. Satisfied, they settle in for the night. But something in Alan's pocket pinches him. Alan, oh. Ah. What's that? He winces and digs it out. It's the velociraptor claw he unearthed in Montana. He looks at it. The kids do as well. Lex, what are you and Ellie gonna do now if you don't have to pick up dinosaur bones anymore? Alan, I don't know, I guess we'll just have to evolve too. Tim, what do you call a blind dinosaur? Grant, I don't know. What do you call a blind dinosaur? Tim, do you think he saurus? Grant chuckles. Tim, what do you call a blind dinosaur's dog? Grant, you got me. Tim, do you think he saurus rex? Grant chuckles again. Lex, what if the dinosaur comes back while we're all asleep? Y/N, I'll stay awake. Lex, skeptical, all night? Both kids finally close their eyes. Y/N, all night. Grant, how your head? Y/N. Y/N, it's alright. For now. Grant, good. Grant lets the claw fall to the ground. Visitor center. The toys and collectibles in the Gallimimus gift shop are shown. The camera shifts towards the Cretaceous Cafe. John Hammond sits at the table, alone. There is a bucket of ice cream at his end of the table, and he's eating a dish of it, staring down. Ellie draws up to the table and Hammond looks up at her. John, they were all melting. Ellie, Malcolm's okay for now. I gave him a shot of morphine. John, they'll all be fine. Who better to get the children through Jurassic Park than a dinosaur expert in my grandson, Y/N. Another pause. Hammond breaks it again. John, Y/N, was going to take over after I pass away, so he knows the park somewhat. You know, the first attraction I ever built when I came down from Scotland was a flea circus, Petticoat Lane. Really quite wonderful. We had a wee trapeze and a merry-go, carousel, and a seesaw. They all moved, motorized of course. But people would say they could see the fleas. Ellie just looks at him, not sure what his state is. He goes on. John, I can see the fleas, Mummy. Can't you see the fleas? Clown fleas, high wire fleas, fleas on parade. But with this place, I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something they could see and touch. An aim not devoid of merit. Ellie, but you can't think through this one, John. You have to feel it. John, you're right, you are absolutely right. Hiring Nedry was a mistake, that's obvious. We're overdependent on automation, I can see that now. Now, the next time, everything's correctable. Ellie, John. Creation is an act of sheer will. Next time, it'll be flawless. Ellie, it's still the flea circus. It's all an illusion. John, when we have control. Ellie, you never had control. That's the illusion. Now, I was overwhelmed by the power of this place. Well, I made a mistake, too. I didn't have enough respect for that power, and it's out now. The only thing that matters now are the people we love. Alan, Y/N, Lex, and Tim. John, they're out there, where people are dying. Hammond, look at her. Ellie, so. Ellie reaches out and takes a spoon out of one of the buckets of ice cream, and licks it. Ellie, conted, it's good. John, spared no expense. It is close to dawn. Grant, Tim, and Lex are asleep in the branches of the tree, both kids now curled up under Grant's arms. Y/N was still awake as he saw a brachiosaur's head pushes into the tree branches, right up beside Grant and them. Grant awakens, only a little bit asleep. He notices the brachiosaurus and smiles, he then looks over as he saw that Y/N was awake. Lex awakens too. Lex with a fearful look, she flees to a higher branch. The brachiosaur returns for a second bite. Tim awakes too. Lex, go away. Grant, quietly, it's okay. It's okay. It's a brachiosaur. Tim, it's a vegisaurus, Lex. A vegisaurus. Y/N they only eat plants. Lex, softly, a veggie. Tim tries to imitate the brachiosaur's noise. Tim, come on. Come on, girl. Come on. Y/N Grant. Grant looks over at Y/N as he was holding out a tree branch. Grant grabs the branch as he moves forward with the branch. Grant, come on. Come on, baby. The brachiosaur makes a loud honking noise, startling Grant and the kids. Alan tries to feed the brachiosaur. The animal gets the end of the branch and starts a tug-of-war with him. Grant, I'm not letting go. Y/N haha. Tim reaches out, petting the dinosaur's head while it chews. The dinosaur keeps chewing placidly. Y/N it looks like she's has a cold. Grant, yeah. Maybe. Lex, interested, can I touch it? Grant, sure. Just think of it as kind of a big cow. Tim giggles. Lex, I like cows. The dinosaur head moves away from the group. Lex tentatively edges forward in the tree to the inspection. Y/N don't fall. Lex, come on, girl. Come on up here, girl. Come on. Up here. The brachiosaurus suddenly sneezes. It's a vast explosion, and Lex is dripping wet from head to toe in mucus. She is frozen with horror. Y/N. Ha ha ha. Tim, God bless you. Grant, Y/N, Tim, and Lex are walking away from the tree they spent the night in. Lex is still soaked from the brachiosaurus sneeze. Lex, yuck. Tim, oh, great. Now she'll never try anything new. She'll sit in her room and never come out and play on her computer. Y/N will it's better than nothing. While the kids talked, Dr. Grant climbs over a fallen log and suddenly disappears from sight. Both Tim and Lex don't notice, but Y/N did as he stopped. Lex, I'm a hacker. Tim, that's what I said. You're a nerd. Lex, I am not a computer nerd. I prefer to be called a hacker. Y/N Lex. Tim. Stop. Both Lex and Tim stopped as they turned around and saw Grant seating on the ground. They made their back to Grant as they saw him holding a broken dinosaur eggshell. Grant, oh God. Around Grant, there are multiple eggshells like the one he's holding. Y/N how? Grant, you know what this is? It's a dinosaur egg. The dinosaurs are breeding. Tim, but, my grandpa said all the dinosaurs were girls. Grant, amphibian DNA. Lex, what's that? Grant, well, on the tour, the film said they used frog DNA to fill in the gene sequence gaps. They mutated the dinosaur's genetic code and blended it with that of frogs. Some species of West African frog are known to spontaneously change sex from male to female in a single-sex environment. Chuckles a bit. Malcolm was right. Look. There's a trail of little dinosaur footprints leading away from the nest. Grant, life found a way. Back in the control room, there's an air of tension as Hammond has apparently just made a radical suggestion. Arnold, no, that's crazy. You're out of your mind. He's absolutely out of his mind. Ellie, well, wait a minute. What exactly does this mean? Hammond, we're talking about a calculated risk, my dear, which is about the only option left to us. We will never find the command that Nedry used. He's covered his tracks far too well. I think it's obvious now he's not coming back. So, shutting down the system. Arnold, I won't do it. You'll have to get somebody else, because I will not. Hammond, shutting down the system is the only way to wipe out everything that he did. Now, as I understand it, all the systems will then come back on in their original startup mode, correct? Arnold, theoretically, yes, but we've never shut down the entire system before. It may not come back on at all. Ellie, would we get back the phones back? Arnold, yes, again, in theory. Muldoon, what about the lysine contingency? We could put that into effect. Ellie, what's that? Hammond, that is absolutely out of the question. Arnold, the lysine contingency's intended to prevent the spread of the animals in case they ever get off the island. Dr. Wu inserted a gene that creates a single faulty enzyme in protein metabolism. The animals can't manufacture the amino acid lysine. Unless they're completely supplied with lysine by us, they slip into a coma and die. Hammond, forcefully, people are dying. Arnold just looks up at him. Hammond, calmer, will you please shut down the system? Arnold unlocks and opens a switchboard. There are 3 switches, each with numbers, and one marked main. As he switches the numbered switches off, the monitors in the room go dark. He then flips the main switch, and the entire room goes dark. Arnold, hold on to your butts. Arnold flips the main switch back to on. The room remains dark. Arnold, A beeping sound is heard from one of the computers. Arnold goes over to look at it. There's a line blinking on one of the monitors, system ready. Arnold, it's okay. Look, see that? Look. It's on. It worked. Malcolm, wait a minute. What do you mean, it worked? Everything's still off. Arnold, maybe the shutdown tripped the circuit breakers. All we have to do is turn those back on, reboot a few systems, phones, security doors, and half a dozen others, but it worked. Systems ready. Muldoon, where are the breakers? Arnold. Maintenance shed. Other end of the compound. 3 minutes, and I can have power back on in the entire park. Hammond, now, just to be safe, I want everyone in the emergency bunker until Mr. Arnold returns, and the whole system's running again. Stampede. Grant, Y/N, Lex, and Tim walk their way through a field. During the walk Tim got tried and got on, Y/N, back. Tim, I'm hot. Y/N, hi hot, I'm. Y/N. Tim, you're not funny. Lex, don't your legs hurt? Y/N, I'm doing alright, don't worry Lex. Y/N, thoughts, holy fuck, my legs and head are killing me. Alan, just keep going. Looking at the map, I'd say the visitors center is just a mile over that rise there. Just keep. They then stop as they see a group of dinosaurs running in the distance. Alan, what is that? Tim, can you tell me what they are? Tim, they are Gallimimus. Lex, are those meat-eating Meatosauruses? Y/N, no Lex, they're just herbivores. They only eat plants. As they are looking at the Gallimimus they turn as they start to run in their direction. Alan, look at the wheeling. Uniform direction changes. Just like a flock of birds evading a predator. Y/N, yeah. Wait, did you just say evading a predator? Tim. They're flocking this way. Y/N, still with Tim on his back, turned around as he started running with Lex next to him. Shortly after, Grant also turned around as he too started running. Grant grabbed Lex's hand. They made their way to a fallen down tree. Tim got off of Y/N's back as they went under the tree and took cover behind. After they all went by, they went back under, going back to the other side. After get on the other side, everything looked over the log as they saw the Gallimimus run. Just then the T-Rex came out of the tree line, grabbing one and killing it. Y/N, I guess that was the predator they were evading. Lex, I want to go now. Alan, just look how it eats. Lex, please. Alan, I bet you'll never look at birds the same way again. Y/N, fuck that. I'm eating a chicken. When I get home. Tim, yes. Lex, go now. Alan, okay. Keep low and follow me. Grant, Y/N, and Lex started to leave, but Tim stayed as he watched the T-Rex eat. Tim, look how much blood. Y/N, then came back as he grabbed Tim. Walk away. Bunker Ellie walks down the stairs nervously. Ellie, something happened. Something's wrong. Hammond, this is just a delay. All major theme parks have delays. Why, when they opened Disneyland in 1956, nothing works. Malcolm, yeah, but John, if the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists. Ellie, I can't wait anymore. Something went wrong. I'm going to go get the power back on. Muldoon, you can't just stroll down the block, you know. Hammond, let's not be too hasty. He's only been gone. Hammond looks at his watch and falls silent. Muldoon walks over to a steel cabinet. Muldoon, I'm going with you. Ellie, okay. Muldoon removes a shotgun from the cabinet. Meanwhile, Hammond digs out a pile of blueprints. Hammond, now this isn't going to be like switching on the kitchen light, but I think I can talk you through it. Ellie, talk. Right. Ellie grabs a pair of walkie-talkies. Hammond, but it ought to be me really going. Ellie, why? Hammond, well, because I'm, and you're, Ellie, smacks the walkie-talkie into Hammond's hand. Look. Muldoon, come on, let's go. Ellie, we can discuss sexism and survival situations when I get back. Just take me through this step by step. I'm on channel 2. Hammond, right. Switches the walkie-talkie to channel 2, Ellie and Muldoon emerge from the bunker, making their way towards the jungle. As they do, they pass the Velociraptor paddock. Looking up, they see that there's now a gaping hole in the fencing. Muldoon, the shutdown must have turned off all the fences. Damn it, even Nedry knew better than to mess with the raptor fences. Come on, this way. They head into the jungle. Soon, the entrance to the maintenance shed comes into view. Ellie, I can see the shed from here. We can make it if we run. Muldoon, no. We can't. Ellie, why not? Muldoon, because we're being hunted. Ellie, oh God. Muldoon, from the bushes straight ahead. It's all right. Ellie, like hell it is. Muldoon, run. Towards the shed. I've got her. Ellie hesitates. Muldoon, go. Now. Ellie takes off running. Muldoon goes into the bushes the other direction. Ellie is scrambling, running like an entire pack of velociraptors is on her tail. Over a log. Through a puddle, until finally she bursts into the maintenance shed and slams the door shut behind her. Only then does she stop running. Ellie, Mr. Arnold? No response, Mr. Arnold? Into the radio, John, I'm in. Hammond, all right, now, in front of you, you'll see a stairway going down. Go down it. Ellie, okay, going down the stairs. Hammond, after about 20 or 30 feet, you'll come to a T-junction. Take a left. Malcolm, just have her follow the main cable. Hammond, I know how to read a schematic. Grant, Y/N, Lex, and Tim emerge from the jungle. They are standing at the base of the electric fence. It appears to be at least 30 feet high. Grant approaches with a branch. He throws it against the electric fence, but it bounces off harmlessly. Y/N, then looks at the light on the fences. He saw that they were off. Y/N, it's okay, the power's off. Grant lifted an eyebrow as he carefully approaches the electric fence, grabbing it with his hands. He suddenly shaking and screaming, causing Tim and Lex to scream themselves. He then stops and turns towards the kids with a wicked grin. Y/N also had a grin on as he crossed his arms. Lex, unamused, "That's not funny." Tim, about to crack up, "That was great. Grant, or maybe we could." Grant tries to pull the power lines apart to make room to crawl through, but they won't budge. Suddenly, the sound of the T-Rex roaring is heard behind them. Y/N turned around as Tim and Lex quickly scramble for the electric fence and start climbing. Back in the maintenance shed, Ellie turns a corner and finds her flashlight shining on a wall. Ellie, "Damn it. Dead end." Hammond, "Now wait a minute. There should have been a right back somewhere." Malcolm grabs the radio from Hammond. "Ellie, look above you. You should see a large bundle of cable and, pipes all heading in the same direction. Follow that." Ellie, "Okay." Following the piping fence, Y/N was now climbing the fence as he was behind the others. Lex, "I bet I could climb over to the other side before you could even get to the top." Tim, "What would you give me?" Lex, "Respect." Alan, "Come on, guys, it's not a race." Y/N "Not unless they turn the power back on. Then it's become a race." Maintenance shed. Ellie, "I see the box. It says, high voltage." "Yeah. Okay." Fence. Alan, "Good. Here we go. Over the top. Take your time." "Good. Come on. Find your footing. Find your footing." Maintenance shed. John Hammond, "Ellie, you can't throw the main switch by hand. You've got to pump up the primer handle in order to get the charge. It's large, flat, and gray." Ellie, "All right, here I go." "Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, charged." John Hammond, under the words, "contact position," there's a round green button which says push to close. Ellie, "Push to close." "Okay." Hammond, "Push it." Fence. Suddenly the alarm starts to go on the fence that Y/N and Tim are on. The alarm scares Tim as he also falls. Maintenance shed. Hammond, "Ellie, the red buttons turn on the individual park systems. Switch them on." Ellie started to turn on all the power to the park fence. Lex, "Get down now." Alan, "You're gonna have to jump." Tim, "You crazy? I'm not gonna jump." Y/N was already past Tim as he looked up at Tim. Y/N "Damn it, Tim." Y/N started to climb back up towards Tim. Lex, Y/N. "What are you doing?" Tim, Y/N. "Get down, it not safe." Y/N "No shit." Y/N got up next to Tim as he grabbed him. Tim, "What are you?" Y/N Alan. Grant looked up at Tim and Y/N. Y/N "Catch." Y/N grabbed Tim as he threw him toward Alan, who caught him. Alan then put Tim down as he saw Y/N hanging on to the fence with one hand facing them. Y/N "Here the power turns back on," shocking Y/N as he falls to the ground. Lex, Y/N. Y/N. Alan puts his hand on Y/N's chest. Alan, "He's not breathing." Maintenance shed. Ellie, "Mr. Hammond, I think we're back in business." It didn't take too long before the raptor revealed itself. Ellie screamed in fear. Ellie, "Ah. Oh my God." She closed the door so the raptor won't get out until she backed away. An arm fell onto her shoulder. Ellie, "Oh Mr. Arnold." She turned around as she saw no one, but that it was just an arm. Ellie back up to the door shut as the raptor came up from behind, scaring her. Ellie dropped the arm as she ran out of the maintenance shed with the raptor right behind her. Once up the stairs, she quickly shut the door as he ran away from the maintenance shed before closing the gate to it. Once outside and behind the fence, she sat down as she started to cry. With Robert Muldoon, he had found one of the raptors as he takes his hat off and places it on a tree branch in front of him. Muldoon sets up his shotgun as he takes aim at the velociraptors in front of him. As he is about to pull the trigger, a hissing sound is heard next to him. Looking over, he saw that one of the raptors snuck up on him from the side. "Robert, clever girl." The raptor jumps on him, killing him. Chapter 7. Alan, Y/N. "No, Y/N." Lex and Tim begin to sniffle. But then, Y/N started coughing. "He's alive." Alan, "Good boy." Y/N weakly come. Y/N then put his hand back down as it started to hurt even more than before. Y/N how the fuck am I still alive? Alan and the others make it to the visitors center as Alan opens the doors. Alan, hello? Alan help, Y/N, walk as they made their way to a table. Alan, okay. I'm gonna have to find the others and get you to a doctor. Y/N doctor? Alan, there are no doctors on this island. Just hand me the first aid kit on the wall. Y/N said with his head down and pointed at the first aid kit. Alan and the other looked over as they saw the first aid kit. Alan left as he grabbed it and headed back. Alan, how did you know that was there? Y/N I was organizing going to take over this place after my grandfather died, but now I'm not so sure and more. Alan handed the first aid kit to Y/N. Alan, Lex, you look after Tim and your older brother. Lex, yeah. Alan then looks over at Y/N as he was sitting in one of the chairs. Alan, your hair is all sticking up. I'll be back soon. I promise. Help Lex if she needs it. Y/N okay, stay safe. With that Alan life. Once gone, Tim and Lex saw there was a lot of food out as they got some and started eating. While the two were eating, Y/N got up from his seat as he slowly walked away with the first aid kit. Lex, where you going? Y/N bathroom. I'm going to get myself cleaned up. I be back, just don't run off. With that, Y/N life as he made his way to the man's bathroom. Outside Alan was walk around as he was looking for Ellie. Alan, Ellie? Alan then turns around as he sees Ellie. Ellie, run. Alan then ran towards Ellie as Ellie ran towards him. They both met up as Alan gets Ellie a big hug. Visitor center with Tim and Lex, they were eating all the food that was left out. While Lex was about to eat some green jello, she stopped. Lex was shaking. Tim say this was as he looked behind him as he saw what she was shaking at. Behind them they saw a shadow of a raptor making its way towards them. They both quickly got up and ran to the kitchen to hide. Bunker Grant, it's just the two raptors. Right? You sure the third one's contained? Ellie, yes, unless they figure out how to open doors. Visitor center bathroom, Y/N, just got done cleaning up and patching up any injuries he may have got without knowing with the best of his knowledge. While he was getting done he heard a swing noise outside the room. Y/N looked at the door as he saw it started to open. Y/N ugh. Tim knock it oh. Y/N opens the door was he saw a raptor standing right in front of him. The raptor roared at him as Y/N tried quickly to shut the door, but the raptor put it close in front of the door so it wouldn't shut. Y/N fuck. Y/N then saw the first aid kit on the bathroom sink as he grabbed it and slammed it onto the raptor's clothes. After hitting the raptor with the first aid kit, it let go as Y/N finally shut the door and locked it. The raptor started to bang on the door as Y/N looked for a way out. After a while of looking the banging stopped. Confusion, Y/N slowly made his way to the door. Y/N put his ear up to the door as he listened to what on the other side. After hearing nothing, Y/N slowly opened the door as he saw nothing. Slowly walking out, Y/N checked his surroundings. After doing so he realized that it was safe and made his way towards the table. Once he got there he saw the food. Y/N what the? Why would someone? Oh shit. Tim. Lex. Y/N saw a knife on the table as he picked it up and went looking for his siblings. Y/N made it into the kitchen as he saw both Lex and Tim running towards him. Standing behind them was another raptor. Y/N quickly got behind Tim and Lex as they ran back to where he was. Once we got there we saw Alan and Ellie. Alan was holding a shotgun. Lex, it's in there. Lex said as she pointed to the kitchen. Ellie, control room. They head to the control room. Lex, we can call for help. Ellie, we've got to reboot the system first. Grant, the door locks. Ellie, boot up the door locks. Standing in front of the closed door was a raptor looking through the window. It then started to open the door as Alan pushed it back. Alan, no, boot up the door locks. Ellie, get back. Boot up the door locks. Ellie, you can't hold it by yourself. Ellie then got in front of the door as she helped Alan. Y/N saw that Alan dropped the gun as he picked it up and aimed it at the raptor. After, Y/N quickly got up with the gun. He became lightheaded and the conversation and the electric fence started to catch up to him. Y/N fell down to one knee as he held his hand. Y/N fuck my head. I really do need to see a doctor. Tim, did it. Without realizing it, Lex has got onto one of the computers and brought everything back online. Lex, yes. This is it. The door locked, keeping out. The Raptor. Alan, what works? Lex, all security systems are enabled. We got it. Ellie went over to Y/N to help him out while Alan picked up a phone on the deck as he started to call John Hammond. From the bunk room, Hammond picks up the phone. Hammond, Grant. Grant, Mr. Hammond, the phones are working. Hammond, the children all right? Grant, the children are fine. Call the mainland. Tell them to send the dem helicopters. A loud crash caused them to look. Ellie, it's gonna cut through the glass. Y/N looked up as he brought up the shotgun and fired 3 shots but missed all 3 times. Hammond, Grant. Alan found a ladder as everyone started to climb it and into the vent. Y/N dropped the gun as Ellie helped him up. Once all of them were up, Alan kicked the ladder, making it fall to the ground. After doing so, another raptor broke through some glass as it made its way into the room. As they were all crawling through the vents, the one raptor inside the control room looks up at the grated ceiling. It can hear the banging as Grant, Ellie, and the kids climb through it. As Lex was crawling, the raptor pops its head up through it, lifting Lex into the air. She screams. Grant quickly turns and gives the raptor a solid kick, and then another. The raptor tumbles back down, and Lex almost falls to the floor with it. Grant manages to pull her back up to safety as the raptor leaps up again, just missing her leg. They continue to crawl through the ductwork, and eventually, Grant pulls up a vent cover. They are above the dinosaur skeletons in the lobby of the visitors center. They descend onto the scaffolding, only to discover one of the raptors is waiting for them. Y/N shit. Y/N then remember the knife he had as he pulled it out and threw it at the raptor. The raptor dug out of the way as the user carefully tried to climb down onto the sauropod skeleton. The raptor leaps at Y/N as he quickly got done, making it land onto the skeleton behind him, this causing it to spin wildly and break apart. Everyone that was on the skeleton hold on for dear life. But by the raptor jumping at Y/N, it caused the platform Y/N was on to become unstable and making it fall. Grant, Tim. Let go. Tim lets go and drops to the floor. He looks up, and sees the ceiling support for the skeleton is starting to give way. The neck Lex is clinging to plummets towards the floor, but stops. Ellie loses her grip on the tail and drops to the floor. She covers herself as dust and bones fall on her. The ceiling support then breaks off completely, dumping Grant to the floor. Tim screams as the skeleton plummets towards him, but the ribs hit the floor first, leaving Tim safe in the gap between them. Grant moves to extract Tim, but Ellie sees a bigger problem. Another raptor enters through the tarp-covered hole. Lex screams as Y/N grabbed her as the 2 raptors surround them. Grant and the others back away as much as they can, but the raptors continue to stalk them. One crouches down, ready to pounce for the kill. When the massive head of the T-Rex suddenly descends, catching the raptor in its powerful jaws. The trapped raptor is doomed, and is soon killed by the T-Rex, who drops its prey, ready to eat. The other raptor, infuriated by the loss of its pack mate, attacks the T-Rex, jumping up and digging its claws into the T-Rex's neck. The T-Rex roars in pain, and tries to swing its head around to snatch the raptor. While the dinosaurs are keeping each other occupied, the humans run for the door. As Grant, Y/N, Lex, and Ellie, holding Tim, make it outside, Hammond pulled up in a Jeep, with Malcolm in the back seat. They get in. Grant, Mr. Hammond, after careful consideration I have decided not to endorse your park, Hammond, so have I. The Jeep drives off. Back in the visitors center, the T-Rex violently swings its head, causing the raptor to lose its grip and slide down. The T-Rex catches the raptor by the tail, pulling it into its jaws, then swings and releases, flinging the raptor into the T-Rex skeleton, demolishing it. The T-Rex lets out a triumphant roar as the banner "When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth" flutters to the floor. The Jeep has come to a stop near a waiting InGen helicopter. Ellie helps Tim and Lex get into the helicopter, while Grant helps Malcolm. Hammond takes one last look at the remains of Jurassic Park, listening to the sound of dinosaurs in the distance. Y/N walks up next to him as he grabs his arm, startling him out of it, and then they turn towards the helicopter. Unlike the helicopter ride to the island, the ride out is solemn and silent. Hammond idly gazes at the mosquito-bearing ember on the end of his cane. Even the normally talkative Malcolm is silent. Ellie just gazes at Grant, who is asleep, with both Lex and Tim sleeping against him. Grant opens his eyes and smiles at Ellie. She smiles back. Next to Ellie, Y/N, they're leaning his head on the wall of the helicopter. Alan look out the window of the helicopter as a flock of condors fly past. The helicopter flies off into the distance as the movie ends.